Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions regarding this watch. Today we discuss one of my favorite types of timepiece, rare, fine, and German. This is a watch you're not likely to see because Glashütte Original has always been something of a connoisseur's brand. It has never really made a hype watch, and here you can see why. It focuses on quality and heritage. This is the Glashütte Original Senator Observer, launched in 2012. This is stainless steel. It's a watch that was designed to echo the vintage marine chronometers built by Glashütte Original's predecessor companies, and also observation watches. So this is a timepiece that is a tribute to historic chronometers made in Germany, including by great watchmakers such as Julius Assmann. Now, this timepiece here, of course, features a 44mm steel case, so it's large, and as a tribute to a marine clock, that makes sense. However, it is not thick. I measure it 12mm thick and from lug tip to lug tip 51mm with a 21mm spacing between the lugs. So on my wrist, it wears broad, saucer-like, but also flat. You can see there'd be no trouble fitting under a dress cuff here. Now it is broad, okay. 51mm lug-to-lug means I probably have the smallest wrist that could wear this proportionally. If your wrist is any smaller, you might want to look at other versions of Glashütte Original chronometer-style watches. And the Senator chronometer would be a great place to start, but this, of course, is the Senator Observer. Bigger is better in that instance. So 16 centimeters circumference and up. Taking a look at the strap. The original strap that came with this would have been calfskin, but we've fitted it with an alligator leather strap that's a bit more upscale. Now you can see it's still a GO strap, it's factory. Large, symmetrical, rectangular scales, always indicative of a very high quality cut of the animal. Black semi-gloss, you can see there is some bolstering to add thickness. It features a folded edge, a monotone stitch, and then calfskin on the bottom, a brand new unmarred strap, and it has the watch's original factory stainless steel folding clasp. You can see that GO uses a fixing screw, and this is something that some brands, Vacheron's also done it for example, will use on a buckle to prevent the strap from pulling through the deployant clasp, which can happen. The fixing screw is there, so once you've sized it up, that will keep it locked in place and it cannot come unmoored from its clasp. And you can see this appears to be made by Brogioli, which is a longtime clasp and bracelet supplier to many high-end brands. Taking a look at the case, we have stepped lugs, though not as dramatically as the notched lugs you find on a Lange. We have a pusher adjuster for correcting the flush double-digit date, and that is quite a feather in its cap that both discs are flush to each other. The crown features GO branding. We have a combination of polish and satin. Notice that the lugs ride ever so slightly up the flank of the bezel, and that's just to prevent the lugs from getting flattened by the bezel or necessitating a thicker watch to accommodate a fuller lug. It's a nice artful solution often seen on well-designed watches. The bezel features a little bit of a vertical lip, and then there's a slight concave, then there's a flange adjacent to the crystal. And you can see right here, small seconds over at 9 o'clock. The watch does have a hacking seconds function. Taking a look at the crystal, just the slightest bit of camber over a dial that features 3 separate applications of lacquer. So this is a granular lacquer dial. So if you get very close, you can see it has a very fine sandpaper-like texture, and it takes 3 applications of lacquer to create this effect. You can see we have a chemin de fer, or a railroad track, for reading the individual minutes as well as the individual seconds. And then a very simple combination of black on silver white printing. We have the power reserve indicator. Power reserve on this watch is 55 hours, plus or minus 5%. And then we have the hands at center. So we have a watch that is precise to set. I have to say there's almost no dead angle in this crown from the time you start turning it to the time the hand starts moving, and I deeply appreciate that. Wind the watch, and you can see that the power reserve indicator jumps towards up, so that's down, that's up. Roll it all over. Caliber 100-14. So you can see this is a 50 meters water-resistant watch. Now, that's still not enough to swim, not without a screw-down crown, but it is better than the standard dress watch 30-meter rating. Twin barrels, making for a very flat torque supply to the escapement. These barrels are here not so much to create a superbly long power reserve, but to make sure that the torque curve itself is fat and regular in shape, so very flat from maximum wind to minimum wind. 60 joules, it is a very finely balanced and tuned movement. You can see it's adjusted to a chronometer in high horology style, 5 positions, and it is nicely decorated with a combination of black polish on screw heads and the swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism. We have this lovely solarized reduction wheel for the winding system, black polished bearing cap. We have Streifen, because we are not in Switzerland. We're not going to call them Côte de Genève. There's snailing on the edge of the bridges, and there's media blast on the base plate. And if you get close to the balance, you can see it beating away at 4 hertz or 8 beats per second. A unique adjustment system here. You can see it's an uncommon arrangement. It's designed to offer a lot of the benefits of a free-sprung mechanism in that it is fairly shock resistant and will not be easily displaced by an impact or concussion of the watch. It is a big movement. It's 31.15 millimeters in diameter, and Glashütte Original is a true manufacturer, making their own calibers. They even train their own watchmakers, build their own tooling, and then they train their own tool makers. So this is a very integrated manufacturer. And of course, if you want to talk about history, it's well known that having grown out of the GUB, which was the communist-era collectivized watch factory in East Germany, the component companies that went into GUB included the original Lange und Söhne. So Glashütte Original, coming out of the GUB, is the real successor to the historic Lange, and they make beautiful things. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.